Good morning, church. Today I'll be sharing my SOAP devotion. If God is for us, who can be against us? A very powerful question, but also very comforting for someone who truly believes in God. I'll be reading from Acts 12:6-11. The night before Herod was to bring him to trial, Peter was sleeping between two soldiers, bound with two chains, and sentries stood guard at the entrance. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared and light shone in the cell. He struck Peter on the side and woke him up. "Quick, get up," he said, and the chains fell off Peter's wrist. Then the angel said to him, "Put on your clothes and sandals," and Peter did so. "Wrap your cloak around you and follow me," the angel told him. Peter followed him out of the prison, but he had no idea that what the angel was doing was really happening. He thought he was seeing a vision. They passed the first and second guards and came to the iron gate leading to the city. It opened for them by itself, and they went through it. When they had walked the length of one street, suddenly the angel left him. Then Peter came to himself and said, "Now I know without a doubt that the Lord has sent his angels and rescued me from Herod's clutches and from everything the Jewish people were hoping would happen." You see in verse 11 how Peter realized a bit later that the Lord has sent his angels to his rescue, and he was not sure to begin with if he was just seeing a vision or it is reality, as he was just woken up abruptly from his sleep. In Tagalog, we say na alimpungatan siya. He was probably a bit confused at that time and could not make sense of what is happening at that time. It is the same with us sometimes when we do not understand what is happening to us in a difficult situation we are in. Then we start questioning God, different sorts of questions like, "Why God?" Or we start blaming God for all the things that is against what we want to happen. However, did you ever notice that in verse 8 and 9, where the angel had asked Peter to do things like to put his clothes on and his sandals and to follow him, Peter just complied and never argued. He just followed or obeyed and did not say anything to protest or anything of that sense. Do you know why? Because in his heart he believes and trusts God even though he does not understand what was happening at that time. He just followed and never questioned a thing. As a born-again Christian, we should do the same as Peter did. We should trust and believe God that even though we do not understand things that are happening to us at a certain time, rest assured that God has his reasons and he will reveal it to sooner or later. And when that time comes, I'm sure you'll say, that is why. I believe that everything that happens and will happen to my life has a reason that only God knows. I may not understand it at the time that certain things happen, but I know that along the way, God will show me the better reason for it. Here's a testimony I want to share. Many of you know that I just recently graduated as an RN, but I was an EN for a long time. I never wanted to be an EN, but due to personal reasons and not having much choice, I was pushed to study diploma in enrolled nursing. God led me to be an EN for some reasons that I could not understand back then. However, just before Miko and I celebrated our first wedding anniversary, he ended up in ICU. Believe it or not, he nearly died back in July 2014 with pneumonia. And God showed me the reason behind why I needed to be an EN. God needed me to be a nurse and to have enough experience before I married Miko. Why? Because God knows that the skills I have learned as an EN will help save the life of one of his children. God has used me and my skills as an EN to save my husband. What happened was I brought him to ED, but the doctor who was looking after him has said that he is young and will recover at home and wanted to send him home. But because I know what I needed to look at when it comes to vital signs, I knew that he should not go home at that time. I knew that there was something wrong and I advocated for my husband to stay in the hospital. And that was one of the best decisions I have made, because if I listened to that doctor and took him home, Miko would never be here with us. In fact, there will never be in all of our family, and I will never learn to sew. So, if you are in a position and you cannot understand what is happening, do not lose heart. Just trust God, trust the process. He will eventually reveal all his reasonings to you, and then you'll say, that's why.